take a photo. Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the third section of the AGM. Okay, right, thank you. So the first one I'd like to invite On to give in the NIR SIG report. Is she here? Oh, okay, right, thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Oanh from VNH, and also I speak on behalf of NIR SIG chair, and my co-chair is Zhang. We would love to update regarding to NIR SIG report at our meeting. Yeah, the charter of the National Internet Registry is to say information relating to the operations, policies, and process of National Internet Registry with the aim of promoting cooperation both among NIR and APNIC as well. Yes, there are some key points from presentation from CNIC. Yeah, the total member from CNIC more than 1,230 members, and also they have a great number of internet IPv6 users with more than 800 million internet users using IPv6. And also they have a lot of activity and a good result of IPv6 deployment in China. And also they have to have workshop and another IPv6 technology application innovation competition as well. And from the APNIC, they also keep to increase the number of IPS holders. Totally they got more than 500 members and also more than 800 AS holders as well. They keep transfer cases. And also in the APNIC, they have a good activity to promote RPKI up focus for ROA. They raise the rate number 70% of ROA, and also they have a lot of activity to promote ROV in Japan, but also they on the process to promote ROV in our region as well. There are a lot of activity from the APNIC to support their community for during OPM meeting and other NOC like Janok and other nodes. From Irene, India, they have the more than 4,000, yeah, 4,000 and a half hundred, 4,494 members, and also they have keep assigned AS number to their member, more than 200 new assigned AS number in this year, yeah, in 2024. And also they have some great activity to promote IPv6 as well. They have a great number of IPv6, nearly 80% IPv6 user in India. And also they have other activity to support the community via the Internet Governance Internship and Workshop Academy as well. In Vietnam, Vietnam look forward to IPv6 only. They have planned to this year, start this year to look forward for IPv6 only in like 7 years. There are a lot of activity regarding to IPv6 workshop, routing security workshop, and some of key point in this from VNX is the focus for the student. They have many seminar for student for next generation. And also in Vietnam, VNX was local heart of ABTLD cities 86, and there are many inter-cooperation meeting with another NIR, another international organization as well. From IDD, yeah, they keep increase the number of members, and also they have more than 4,000 and 700 members, and also they assign new AS number to their members, and they order some key projects like honeypot project to detect attack shots and analyze something to protect the internet in India. And also like another NIR, they have the many workshops regarding to IPv6, BGP, and routing security as well. From Taiwan, Taiwan had 340 members, and also they have a great activity for support their member, finish the validation process, be contact as well. And with 2 OPM per year and 6 workshops, focus on IPv6 IoT, PKI, network security, and the result IPv6 and OR and ROV in Taiwan is so good. The last thing I think is the very important thing we raised in NIR SIG at this meeting, that we review what happened among NIRs in last 5 years. As you know, every NIR, we had the same function regarding to National Internet Registry. So in last 5 years, every NIR have some focus on litigation, OPM, Internet conference like that, promote PKI, IPv6 deployment as well, and training and cooperation, Internet governance, technical platform. These are some of the key points from NIR. And we think about in future. Yeah, as you know, we just have some challenges for NIR, but also for regulatory like APNIC as well. We think that resources, IPv4 is halted, and we believe that IPv4 and AS number may be something nearly enough for its organization, it's the country. Some litigation, I feel that the number of litigation reduced for years, last 5 years. Some from the started from the NIRs. So we saw that a lot of things regarding to the challenges. We believe that IPv4 is halted soon, maybe in 3 years, in next 3 years, in our region, APNIC region. So I think that is a challenge for NIR, but we not have more resources to delegate to our member and community as well. Another technology, ROV. We think that ROV is not easy to deploy for all of the AS operators. And also another technology like AI, IoT, IPv6 only, cloud, and anything we think about the new technology. It's a challenge for not only for the NIR, but also the registry as well. And I think it's affect for everyone here. People, next generation, at the opening session, we talk about the next generation. So we would love to support the next generation to become a good leader of the internet in the future. So we believe that it's not easy, the policy. So we officially about the fee. So something regarding to the IPv4 is halted, something regarding to the AS number fee. We officially to pay the third AS number. However, in another region, they charge for the first AS number. So I'm not sure about in the future, maybe in our region change the fee. We think about its challenges. So another issue, the privacy. Yeah, who is privacy, one of the proposal, but I think the privacy we think a lot because it's very important for the person, for everyone, for many things regarding to the privacy. Abuse, security, and I give us the concept of green internet, that I hope that the internet is better, faster, smarter, and hopefully that is the challenge for all of us. And we give the 3 questions. Yeah, the first, the delegation are still main function of NIR and APNIC as well. The second, yeah, we would like to find out IP members, AS holder, community needs. And the last one, we would love to know if NIR and APNIC should to do in next 5 years, new strategy. It's hard to answer 3 questions right now, But I would like to raise a question for everyone. And also, we hope that the topic will be discussed in the NIR CEO meeting in the meeting APNIC City in Da Nang. And that's all. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Ong. Next, I'd like to invite Patron giving the policy SIG report and consensus process. Patron, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon. Bertrand Charrier for the Policy SIG report. The Policy SIG charter, the Policy SIG is here to develop policies related to management and use of Internet number resources within the Asia-Pacific region. Include policies for resource allocation, recovery, transfer, and registration, WHOIS, reverse DNS, RPKI, and all the related services. For this open policy meeting, we had two proposals about WHOIS. Prop 162 about WHOIS privacy. The proposal suggests eliminating the unnecessary publication of an APNIC member organization contact details in the APNIC WHOIS database. People with a legitimate need for these contact details can use a service provided by APNIC to obtain them. The second proposal, Proposal 163, was about WHOIS transparency and efficiency through referral server implementation. So the implementation, the resource queries are already automatically redirected to the appropriate IR database, and IR allocation can be easily accessed using a hierarchical system, and downstream allocation data can be accessible and enhancing transparency and traceability. The outcome, Prop 162, did not reach consensus during the OPM, but we had very good talk, and with all the feedback received, the author asked for the prop to be sent back to the mailing list for a next version at APNIC 60. Prop 163, we did not call for consensus because the author requested directly for the proposal to go back to the mailing list. So we won't be doing consensus call during this member meeting. And that's it for me. Thank you. I'm not trying to pronounce it because I know I will crash it, so.
Thank you. Please remain on the stage. Next one, steer your report, joint SIG report, also presented by Patron.
Hello. So we had a joint SIG session. It was to discuss proposal change of the APNIC SIG guidelines. And the objective of this session was to prevent those who have not participated in the SIG area they are nominated for from being elected to a position or do not have a demonstrable skill set for nominating for any available chair or co-chair position. The other objective is to provide equitable opportunities for individuals to be elected to chair position and to prevent the same company or corporate group from holding more than two positions across SIGs and NRNC combined. The discussions we had made sure that we were not in agreement with everyone. And so all the feedback is going to be used for the next version. And we might actually align ourselves with the EC terms and restrictions. Might be easier to have a common line for this. but that's for another talk. So now the proposal is going to the mailing lists, all of them, so that everyone can read it, and we hope to have a lot of feedback so we can come up with a final version for APNIC 60. And oh well. Well, that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, Patron, we haven't go to the open mic, so just wait for a moment. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite Hervé to give us ICP2 version 2 report. I think that probably will be most critical, most compelling global policy from member community after INI transition. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. I am Hervé Clément, the chair of the ASOSC, and Nick Nugent, the vice chair of one of the two vice chairs of the ASOSC, will join me very quickly for the following of the presentation. ICP2 2 years ago, I think only a few clever people only know what the existence or what is the ICP2, Internet Coordination Policy, the one regarding CCTLD, the third regarding DNS Authoritative Server. We are talking about ICP2. A back of history. ICP2, it was adopted before, after the recommendation of the ASOSC in 2001. Before that, there was the creation of the RIPE NCC, the APNIC, and the ARIN. And after that, after 2001, and this document ICP2, ICP2, what it is, it defines only the criteria for the creation of a regional internet registry and what the criteria regional internet registry has to follow. It was adopted at 2001, as I said. I just say what is ICP2. So you have a list of an example of criteria that can be used that regional internet registry has to follow for its creation, and you have the link to this specific document. The timeline, because there are arrows. Via this document, in 2002, the APNIC has been created for Middle and South America, and 2005, the APNIC. 25 years ago, a little less, this document still exists, but has to be updated. And for other reasons, the NROEC, so the NROEC is a group of the CEOs of the regions, ask us, the ASOSC, members for the different communities, part of this council, to work on strengthen this document. As I say, this ICP2 is 25 years old. Of course, the internet has changed since, and you all know about that. The relation between the region and the ICANN has a little change as well. And this document, the ICP2, needs to be more explicit, and Nick will come further to that. So just to be clear about the real ongoing responsibilities, because so we have to follow if regional internet registry is to follow its duties, and a very, very, very potential possibility of the recognition of area that cannot longer follow this criteria, just in case. So that's the reason why the NROEC, one more time, asked us for two tasks. The first one, so to review this document so it can be applicable for the life and the ongoing life of regional internet registry, or for potentially other registration. And the task number 2 is to strengthen or update the criteria, because one more time, life has changed. There is a timeline for that, and after that, and after my very short, I hope, introduction, I let you, Nick, continue and to go further to this document, which is not technical, but precise one. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Hervé. I'll just back up and say one thing about this is that the ICP2 project has gotten a lot of billing, the revision to ICP2 that is, but perhaps less talked about, less noticed is the implementation procedures. So as Hervé indicated, the NRO-EC asked the ASO-AC to review a document that it had created to essentially operationalize ICP2. Although ICP2, as currently written, speaks to the criteria for establishing new RIRs, we believe, and the NRO-EC believes, that implicit in that document is the ongoing obligations of an RIR to abide by the criteria under which it was recognized. And so the implementation procedures put some additional details around that. And although there isn't as much discussion or a consultation on that, the implementation procedures that the NRO provided and the ASO-AC's feedback on those can be found at that link, and we encourage you to review it if it is of interest to you. Okay, back to the timeline. So as indicated, the NRO-EC already provided the implementation procedures, and the ASO-AC provided that feedback, which can be found at that link. I'm repeating myself, but that's okay. Now we get to the project of revising ICP2, the main document. So the way that we decided to approach this was not to simply throw a brand new written from scratch document at you and invite you to comment on it, because we could have a comment on anything from the placement of a comma to I don't like the way that this particular provision is operationalized or this procedure happens. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to keep the discussion high level. And so we came up with a set of what we thought were the 24 most important principles that, at least in our opinion, and of course we want your opinion, should be included in the new version of ICP2. So we created a principles document, and I'm going to go over some of them right now. No doubt you've already seen this. Certainly you've seen it if you participated in the consultation, but even if not, we encourage you to take a look at it. I won't read all the principles, but I'll just talk about a few that might be of interest. We organize them into several high-level categories. In the governance category, for example, and I've highlighted orange some of the ones that I might talk about, we have a very clear indication of how exactly an RIR is approved, a new RIR is approved, or in the event that it becomes necessary, an existing RIR is derecognized. And we provided a sort of detailed hierarchy of authority here, that the proposal to do either a new RIR or to derecognize an existing RIR must originate from the RIRs upon majority vote, and then ICANN approves. So that's an important distinction from the current version of ICP2. We encourage your feedback on that, among other principles. Under the RIR ecosystem, not much new. A lot of this is carrying forward the existing ICP2 language, the existing ICP2 principles. We have an RIR lifecycle section, which is more explicit than the current version of ICP2. It recognizes that there are essentially 3 life states of an RIR. An RIR can be recognized. That's very clearly in the current version of ICP2. An RIR must ensure that it abides by those same criteria going forward. It has operational requirements, and although we think that that is implicit in the current version of ICP2, we wanted it to be very explicit in the new version of ICP2. And then derecognition, again, we wanted that to be very explicit in this new document. Recognition, pretty much a carry forward from the existing criteria. There has to be, obviously, community support and a community commitment to support the RIR financially and in governance. Operation principles, this is what an RIR must do going forward, continually after it's recognized. Many of these are simply the same criteria under which an RIR must satisfy in order to be recognized, but now they rest a bit more under the operation umbrella. And here are some more operational principles, but there are just a couple that, again, I thought we might highlight as interesting. One, to ensure that an RIR is continuing to abide by its obligations and basically ensuring the stability of the numbering system both within its regions and globally, we anticipate a regular audit procedure. And then you can see at the bottom, there is a general, you could regard as a catch-all. We need to make sure that that RIR is not doing anything that would threaten the stability of the global RIR system. Derecognition. Derecognition sounds extreme. It is, but we wanted to make clear that it really is a last resort. The purpose of ICP2 is not to create a trigger that the slightest deviation from ongoing principles is going to be a cause for derecognition. Quite the opposite. The intention is to rehabilitate an RIR if an RIR begins experiencing problems. To that end, we included a remedial bias principle that not only, and it's fleshed out more as you'll see in the full draft, not only has a bias, a presumption in favor of rehabilitating an RIR, but even an obligation on other RIRs to help, to assist that RIR to get back on its feet. So those are the principles, 24 of them. You can find them on the consultation. You can find them on the ASO/AC website, on the NRO website. Now let's talk about how we go about converting this into a full draft, a full document, a full new ICP2, although it might not go by that name. So we published a consultation on the ICP2 principles document. We got a lot of responses. We'll show you some of the numbers from those responses. In fact, I think I'll show them to you in just a minute. We got a lot of good responses. We spent a lot of time analyzing it. We read every single response. We read and considered every single response. We categorized them into consistent themes that we were seeing, and we talked about those themes, and we're continuing to talk about those themes because we want to make sure that we're not missing something, that we're not going in a direction that doesn't make sense. Then, with a lot of help from the RIR communications team, we put together a summary of the feedback that we received. And we published it this week. You can find it here, QR code or a link, and I'll just give you a little bit of flavor of it. It provides our methodology. As you can see, I know that the font is small, and I'm sorry about that. We got a lot of responses, and APNIC was the far and away winner in terms of volume of responses, which we appreciated. We do acknowledge that some scrubbing did need to occur because we suspected there was some automated responses that had the indicia of being computer generated, but we provided all the data. We provided our assumed scrubbed responses, and we provided the raw data. We didn't want to hide anything. And this page within the report simply provides our methodology. Then, for each principle, you can see the principle is listed. It's described in full language at the top of the page, and it provides a summary of some of the comments that were received. Now, you can look and you can get the raw responses. You can read every single response if you like. But if you don't have the time for that, we would understand that, you can look at our summary of the main themes, the types of responses, the types of comments we got. And you can even read some sample comments on the top right corner. We also provided, and if you participated in the consultation, you know that the way that we sought feedback was for each principle, we listed the principle, and then we said, do you agree? Strongly disagree? Disagree? Neutral? Agree? Strongly agree? You provided numerical input on that, and then you also had a free-form text field to just riff and just say, here are my thoughts in general about that. And we read all those free-form responses. So you can see at the bottom right, a bar chart, the numerical representation of the numerical responses. Here's another one. I won't read it, but this is, for example, the feedback we got on the derecognition principle. And at the end of the report, we provided some general comments on themes that we saw. Again, we read every response, we've talked about it, we're continuing to talk about it, and we do appreciate a lot of the thoughtful feedback that we got. So that's the report. What's next? Now we have to write the document. Principles were nice, but we have to actually write a full document. And we are in the process of doing that right now. We're taking into account the feedback we received. We reserving the right to get smarter as we go, think about things we hadn't thought of before, to discard ideas that didn't make sense we thought they would at the time. And once we're done with that, sometime in Q2, Q3, we're gonna provide the full document. You'll all see it. Not just that, we'll conduct a full public consultation on it, similar, although probably different in the format, to the consultation that we provided on the principles document. You'll all have a chance to read it, and you'll all have a chance to provide your comments, and we encourage you to do so. Based on that feedback, we will revise it. We'll revise the document to reflect a lot of the insights that we'll gain from that consultation, and we'll publish it again. And we're not anticipating at this time that we're going to conduct a second consultation on the revised draft. We might, but we're not anticipating at this point. But we do know that we're going to provide it, and then we're going to discuss it in all the RIR meetings. There's going to be a full cycle of RIR meetings, including ICANN, and including the equivalent that APNIC is going to have in terms of its mailing lists and its mechanisms for discussion. And we're going to get feedback on the second draft of it. Then, barring any further updates, there'll be some tweaking and the like. And ideally, we'll be providing the final document to the NRO and to ICANN for a beginning, at least, of the approval and adoption process at the end of this year. So that is the timeline. That's we're trying to be as clear about our process as possible. And we really want to know, we have some questions for you. We're going to invite you to ask questions of us, but I'll start. We'd love to hear from you in the mics. And one of the questions that we would like to answer, either at the mics or if you want to contact us separately, is if you participated in the consultation, do you have feedback on it? Not just on the principles themselves, not just on the document, not just on the project, but on the consultation. Was it a good way to gauge feedback? Were there flaws? Are there things that we could improve? If you did not participate, why? Is it because of time constraints? Obviously, we're all busy. Was the consultation not helpful? Did it not provide an adequate mechanism for you to provide feedback? Did we not provide enough information? So those are questions for you, but we invite you to ask questions of us, including right now. Any question really, but in case you're shy, we'll even give you a free one that you can use. And that is, for example, here's a question you can ask us. How does the work to produce the revised ICP2 document differ from how a policy proposal is handled in our region? So that's all I have to say. I think we're going to open it up for questions now.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's a tremendous work from the ASO, more than ASO. We have entire legal team from ICANN, legal team from OIR. That's a lot of legal effort as well. And the floor is open. The first, Kara.
Hey, this is Gaurav Upadhyay speaking for myself. I'll reserve my comments on the process. I'm kind of disappointed that we are here all week, and in the last 90 minutes, we're talking about this. I have a question for both APNIC and the ASO. Why was this not discussed as soon as the report was published, like earlier this week? Why were more community not invited to the consultation for a more longer, more thoughtful discussion about it? It's a big disappointment for me because I was looking forward to having a broader conversation about ICP2 at this meeting.
So I have a good answer and a bad answer. I'll give them in that order, I suppose. Or I don't know if it's a good answer, but it's an answer. And that is that initially, let me explain it this way. We have had multiple occasions where the ASOAC, sometimes including the RIR Legal, sometimes including the communications team, will get together and we'll do work sessions. And given the complexity of the work, we might meet for 4 days, 5 days, internationally, in person. A lot of work goes into these, a lot of time is spent. They're just long work sessions. Some of the time, what we'll do, or ideally what we'll do, is we'll time those with existing meetings, whether it's an ICANN meeting in Puerto Rico, whether it's a APNIC meeting in Kyoto, which is another work session we had. The best way to think about that, even if it's not a satisfying answer, is that we use the meeting more as a vehicle for us all to come together to just do a lot of work. And not all of that work was appropriate for an open session. So I think the intent from the beginning was not necessarily to have a bunch of public sessions during APNIC. So that's the answer. Now let me give you the sort of mea culpa on it, is that I think we realized as we were having the meetings this week that we didn't need to do that there were some of the discussions that we had, maybe a third of them, that really could have been open to the public and that could have had input. At that point, we had some robust discussions as to whether it made sense to open them up and change what was already on the public calendar about that. And the decision was made not to try to change things up. I'm sorry if that's not satisfying, but I admit we didn't handle the situation as well as we could have.
Nick, thank you for the ASO answer. What is the APNIC Secretariat answer to this? You owe that to the community to have a discussion on this. So I would also like to hear from the APNIC Secretariat on why they did not have a better planned session on this.
Okay, probably later Secretary can respond. I just add a little bit. Basically, the entire ICP2 team, including ASO and the legal team from ICANN and RIR, basically they have very, very intensive meeting online and offline. So for the housekeeping and logistic, probably Jeremy can help me to respond. I believe they have still had a lot of meeting this week.
Still not happy with that because the community should have had a discussion, and that is on the EC to provide to this community. You can't say legal or ASO didn't have time. So I'm still waiting for an answer. I don't know if Jeremy can answer. I don't want a legal answer. I want to answer why the community was not involved in this process.
Jeremy Harrison, General Counsel of APNIC, trying to provide a non-legal answer. So, I mean, in terms of the review document, it was only published this Monday, which is obviously after the schedule was confirmed. The other part is we're trying to ensure there's balance across the communities in terms of how they're consulted and engaged. To run a complete session at APNIC on this would require the same at the other RIR meetings that are happening in this quarter. The challenge there is that the ASOC is obviously working on the draft document, and they do have a consultation process planned. And as Nick mentioned, the second half of the year RIR meetings will involve a far more substantive consultation.
Okay, right.
I still see that as a cop-out.
But okay, thanks for the response. But actually, I intend to agree with Kara. But I think because they still have a lot of work to do, and besides the consultation, a lot of consultation can be done online, and there are several stages of consultation. So since a lot of ICP2 members are here, and I think we have opportunity to discuss with them once we saw them on somewhere here. Sorry, I agree with you.
George, give me a minute. Back to the substance of the ICP2. What you said there, I think a lot of people, like the pre-consultation education was missing. I think that was what was the big feedback.
The pre-consultation education?
Yeah, because, for a lot of people, like when I talk to them in Wellington about ICP2, even folks who have been around for a while don't remember. Like 2001 was a long time ago. And that could have been done better to get more or better answers to the consultation, because people are like, what is this? Right? And that could have definitely been done a lot better.
That's fair.
Even like I remember ICP2 2001, but I had to go and read that whole thing. A primer would have been a lot more useful. The second comment on this is, why is this so narrow? Right? And there might be reasons for that. And I think that could be better articulated.
Can you unpack that? What do you mean, why is it narrow?
Like, I look at the principles, and it is about recognition, derecognition, and all of that. There's nothing about collaboration.
About collaboration?
Between the RIRs. Is that something we should, 25 years ago, there was that, should collaboration or certain parts of collaboration should be coded into this, because look at all the inter-RIR transfers that happen, and the database is all messy. We had proposal earlier this week about who is, right? And that collaboration part there is something I thought was missing from the process. And maybe that is the next step, or maybe the NRO NC did not, or NRO EC did not give that in the guidelines or the request, but that is a question for the CEOs. I'll not bring that here. But as ASO is elected by the community, you are not just accountable to the NRO, the CEOs, right? And from a community perspective, that is a key item missing. So if it is not possible in this cycle, or maybe, that is for the ASA to really think that we need to codify some of the inter-RIR collaborations that already happen. But that is happening because, we said it's a good thing, right? But some of those do need to be collaborated for the same reasons why you're updating ICP2.
Thank you for the feedback.
Okay, thank you. I think that's great feedback. Probably we can accommodate some other slot in the next meeting for outreach and awareness regarding to ICP2. Kelvin, you're next.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment, Kelvin Bloomberg, some of the things Garib said. We will be having informational webinars. We had them before. Some cases were well attended, in some cases they were not, but that is absolutely well received feedback. There's an FAQ now live. Please, if you have questions, let us get those questions so we can get them out to everybody as FAQ responses. The other two key points are we are working within the constraint of what we've been asked to do by the NROEC. It is not a everything under the sun document. We have very specific requirements that we've been tasked with that we are doing. The second thing is we are 12 volunteers right now. We are not staff. We are not paid. We are giving up ridiculous amounts of time. We're happy to do it. We feel accomplished by it, but we are working under the constraint of being volunteers within our communities. We weren't around when ICP2 was around, in case anybody was asking. There are logistical issues between trying to coordinate all of this work to meet up with the RIRs themselves. So there's a lot of logistical components. Last year, we had a meeting at the APNIC offices in Montevideo where we weren't attached to anything. We just felt it was easier to be here. It was cheaper, which is, budget is always a concern. It was cheaper to be here. But we could have just as easily been in a hotel room locked in like we were in Montevideo. It just happened to be easier. At the same time, if you look at our timeline, there was no discussion right now. It was more an update. We had the discussion with the first level of questionnaire, and we've read the community very well, I think, in that we will have a lot more discussion when the draft comes out.
Thank you, Kelvin. And I really appreciate the effort the entire ICP2 has been spent. I'd like to take next one would be online question, then go back to Luhan, and that name would be the last one.
This is on behalf of Ying-Chu Chen, and she said that she hopes to bring the ICP2 document into discussion in the APR IGF communities this year.
Yeah, of course, that's welcome, but is someone else need to propose this proposal to API IGF? Okay, right, thank you. You're very taken. Luhan, you're next.
Hello, Luhan from Larus Limited. A couple of comments. First of all, I do think that community need to be further engaged. As a person here for a whole week, and there are a lot of AC members here, I haven't been approached even one time to talk about ICP2 by any of your guys. I know that I've tried to talk to them, and it's all on my voluntary. And I've talked to a few other people. Nobody seems to be mentioned or discussed ICP2 revision, which is quite important. It's probably the biggest event for a long time, along all these corridor discussions. And we've been noticed at the very last minute of this meeting and discuss it. And I do think it warrants a very thorough discussion before we're moving forward. That's the first thing. Second thing, I've read the summary report, and many of the arguments, many of the principle, quote unquote, which was put forward, were strongly disagreed by the community. And then I saw that there is comments on the computer-generated response, but I don't know about you guys, but most of my speech and the public email today are computer-generated on the input of me because I just couldn't write a good English. the ChatGPT writes 1,000,000 times better in the clear intent I input into it. I used to have a whole team of people do it for me, but now I just have ChatGPT do it for me. And I can see that with many of the community members, especially not in the North American region. In every other region, the primary population, the speaking language is not English. And the concentration, while it does not specifically mention you need to input in English, but it does strongly imply you better read English and put the English answer there. So I could understand that a large percentage of the community might computer generate their answer based on inputs they put into the AI tools, which I think those could be a valid feedback, should be taken into account, not simply discounted because one of your AI tools thinks that's written by an AI. Because AI doesn't submit the form itself. Human does. And every response came with a name, job, and their company affiliation, which means they are actual human. Every human's opinion need to be valid, even if a human use a tool to write their opinion, which is completely valid, right? You guys are not teachers in the schoolroom trying to teach the entire community, aren't you? We should allow people to utilize whatever tools, especially you are strongly implied to provide response in one very specific language. A large percent of the population on this planet doesn't speak.
Understood.
And you are doing a document which potentially imply this very tool we use to connect the globe. It's a heavy burden. We should respect that. And on that front, I have a question. What we gonna do? Are we really gonna moving forward with this aggressive timeline, looking at the things, especially on the argument that a lot of principle wasn't particularly agreed with the community? Do we looking for a solution where actually practically workable? And there are certain comments or certain principles we're putting there, for example, hands off. The AI being de-recognized need to be fully cooperated with the ICANN and other AI. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna catch a bad criminal. He need to be fully cooperated with the policeman so we can catch him. That doesn't work. You know, the ICP2 at this point, putting some of the principles, putting in practice could be very dangerous and a lack of community input. And at the end of the day, there's also an operational reality here. I'm not sure many of the community members here are aware, is 5IR operated entirely independent. It has independent backend system. It has independent billing system. It has independent private database of its members. They are not cross data sharing. There's no data escrow provided anywhere in the world. So if one IR actually fail, the visibility and operation practicality to take over the entire membership from there and keep the number unique and without dispute, especially in line of IPv4 today worth $200 billion, is a line of impossibility. So this is a heavy burden. This is very important to everybody's job here. And I want you guys to take it very seriously. Let's discuss more and a sort of a solution. And what's your response on the most of the principle was disagreed by the community? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for the feedback. I won't respond on the merits to some of the principles that you raised simply because that's not in scope for this discussion, but we do value your feedback. It's being recorded. We'll take it under advisement. With respect to what we assume are the computer-generated responses, to be clear, it is not that a given response was looked at and said, you know, that's just the English pattern of that individual response indicates that it is a computer-generated response. Rather, and I would defer to the communications team, which uses a specific tool, it was a situation where looking at a set of responses that were all essentially identical with slight variations and wording, it was a statistical likelihood of being computer generated across a number of respondents. We do not make the ultimate judgment that they were computer generated. We provide the raw data with everything, and we invite the community to form its own judgments on that. We have simply provided two sets of responses, one grouping according to the statistical likelihood of what appear to be computer generated responses, and one that is the raw data. And again, we do not make a judgment on that. Thank you.
It's just a quick one. A follow-up comment on that is because every comment are provided with a name, profession, and a job. It's a human being who's making those comments, who are supporting that idea. People could share similar ideas. That should not be discounted. It's just should be treated as a larger voice instead of because they all similar and all those English seems written by AI. So let's forget about them.
Okay.
If that's the case, then we're not respecting the community enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All the information are well taken. Just one more amendment, because basically the policy development, there are several stages of PDP process. Some of the process basically require very intensive communication with stakeholder, with the community. And some of the stage probably require more effort to looking for data analysis, try to compile to get the data result. So during this week, I know they have spent a lot of time to compile all the data together. So probably doesn't have time to talk to the stakeholder, talk to the member. But I believe next time probably we can pay more attention to see whether we can accommodate more time slot to allow ICP2 to have communication within the IR week. Or even last one, sorry.
Andrei Rybachevsky, ASO-EC member. Just one comment on the previous discussion. None of the responses was ignored. I think what the proper word to use here is what the word consolidated for the ease of analysis and the ease of reading of the clean report. Every response was rated. At the same time, I have to say that the group chose the qualitative analysis rather than quantitative analysis. The questionnaire results of the questionnaire were not the voting on the principles, partly because we also discovered that while the number indicated that people agree, there were some concerns and disagreements in the comment session, and opposite, for some of the responses that people disagreed, they were actually in violent agreement and they wanted to clarify implementation of this principle, for instance. So the group has chosen qualitative analysis and none of this was ignored. So every voice was heard, every voice was carefully considered, tagged and analyzed. Then I would like to ask Gaurav, and this is to better understand and to avoid frustration in the community in the future and in other area communities as well. Gaurav, you said there was sort of not enough time to provide input and discuss. You expect this to come earlier, but the questionnaire was open for several weeks and there was an opportunity for community to provide feedback. That's what we are looking for. There will be an opportunity when the feedback is incorporated in the draft document, as Nick explained, an opportunity for the community to discuss and comment, and there will be more of the discussion thing. The questionnaire was really put up to frame the input, the collection of input. So if we don't have time, we can take it offline. But I would like to really know, and maybe in the hallway, Gaurav, you can explain to me better so we can not make the same mistake in the future. Thank you.
Gaurav Upadhyay speaking for myself. I think I heard both Andre and Kevin, and I can see the ASO reasons. I'm still disappointed with the APNIC Secretariat because this is a very relevant topic that the community should have been discussing. And that was my disappointment here. Like there was a report that came out on Monday. It was a very relevant topic, whether the report was there or not. There could have been conversation around this topic earlier in the week for the community in the region. I'm not even asking why the ASO didn't put up a session. I was asking the Secretariat why they did not have something on the agenda for this week. Right? If that explains, I was going to tell Kevin the same thing, wherever he is, in the hallway, and Andre, that is the answer, that was why I said, the Secretariat can't cop out of this because this is the largest gathering of community members in the region for the whole year. The third quarter September meeting is a quarter of the number of people at this meeting. So not using this opportunity to have discussions, have more education, that was my big disappointment of this. Thank you.
I agree with you. Next time we definitely will pay more attention regarding to we have sufficient time slot allocate for the community member and also ICP2 for the communication. Is any other question? Sorry, you can go downstage.
Thank you.
Thank you. So is there any other question with the few minutes? There are none. Can I invite you to pick a big hand to all the ICP2 team, including ASO, AC, ICP2 team from ICANN, and from legal team from all the IR. Can I give a big hand to them? Okay, thank you for your great contribution. Now moving to the next. APNIC 60 that were presented by Nick, who is going to give in the introduction. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zhang from APNIC, Vietnam Internet Center in Information Net Center. We are under management about the internet resources in Vietnam. We are under the Ministry of Science and Technology. The duty of APNIC, we are management and location in internet resources in Vietnam, domain name.vn and IP address and ASN in Vietnam. We are also managing and operating in critical infrastructure in Vietnam, example of DNS system, nation DNS system, VNX, Internet Exchange in Vietnam. The vision of APNIC, we are make internet for all. So we are bring more information about our community and develop, shape and sustain in internet infrastructure in Vietnam. APNIC city will be held in Vietnam. APNIC welcome or APNIC city participants join in APNIC city in Vietnam. APNIC city in Vietnam will be host in Da Nang city, a beautiful place in Vietnam. It's located in south center of Vietnam. APNIC city will be held in Furama Resort. Have a closer information about the place hosting. Please watching this next video. Welcome to Vietnam. Thank you.
Vietnam is a Southeast Asian country located at the eastern tip of the Indochina Peninsula. Coming to Vietnam, you'll be amazed with the diverse natural scene in one country. With 54 ethnic groups, Vietnam has a diverse and rich culture across the length of the country. With many world culture heritage recognized by UNESCO. Vietnamese people are simple, amiable, hospitable, and always welcome friends from the globe to visit our country. Da Nang, the most worth-living city in Vietnam, is located in the south-central coast region of Vietnam. Da Nang City is blessed with various types of natural terrain, naming beautiful beaches, mountains, and river. Thanks to that, Da Nang offers various of beautiful tourist attraction, the Golden Bridge, a symbol of Da Nang tourism, Hoi, an ancient town, UNESCO heritage sites, with a wide variety of traditional food and ancient buildings. Besides long-standing cultural relics, Da Nang is also known as a dynamic and youthful city. The city also welcomes many exciting and spectacular events, as well as serves as a social economic center of the region, with various of industrial aspects. Coming to Da Nang, you'll be amazed by the collection of flavorful, diverse, and mouth-watering local food. Farama Resort offers multicultural experience with a mixture of 3 continents. The resort is the ideal venue to host important events. A well-appointed convention palace can accommodate up to 3,000 people in style. Connected to International Convention Palace, to make it the largest of its kind in Vietnam.
Welcome to Vietnam.
Welcome to Vietnam.
Welcome to Vietnam. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you, Vietnam, to host the next APNIC 60 meeting. And so you know the schedule, you know the location. You can try to schedule your trip for the APNIC 60. So moving to the next will be APNIC EC election result. Can I invite Tom? Go to the stage.
Afternoon. I have the results here. No disputes were raised in the conduct of the election. Now, before I announce the results, there's some procedural things here. So the delegates should be a bit patient. They're lucky that I decided not to spend 5 minutes on storytelling this time. Okay, I have also been advised by scrutineers, Athena from RIPE and Michael from ARIN, that they witnessed the vote downloading process and there were no issues to report. So, could I ask one of them to please step up to the mic to confirm this? Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Athena Fraguli from RIPE NCC. I confirm that indeed the scrutineers witnessed the download of the votes, and those results were sent indeed to the elections chair, and there were no abnormalities or any issues observed. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it went well, so here goes. I will read them ranking of the number of votes. Yoshinobu Matsuzaki, 3,056 votes. Enlehu, 2,936. Rupinda Perha, 2,740. Penny Huang, 2,720. Bertrand Sharia, 530. Rob Thomas, 397. The total number of votes is 12,379. In my days, it's only about 200 to 300. Now it's 12,000. That's very good. So that leads me to congratulate the 4 candidates who succeeded today. Yoshinobu Matsuzaki, Enlehu, Rupinder Singh, and Kenny Huang. Okay, congratulations, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tommy. And also, congratulations for all elected EC, and also thanks for all participant EC candidate. I think your participation was very encouraging, and I also encourage everyone to participate all kind of service that will provide service in the APNIC. So the last one, I'd like to move to Jiarong for vote of thanks and close. Gara's question was not answered during the open mic, so I switched back the open mic for 1 minute.
Thank you. Sorry, Gaurav, I was trying to find out a bit more so I can give you a better response. Gaurav, are you still there? I can't see you, sorry. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so there are two parts to this. Coming back to the topic, whether the Secretariat should have put in a session specifically for consultation on the ICP2 topic. Okay, what I understand is that, which was kind of already mentioned, but the ASOAC convening here together, there was a lot of work they had to do with the drafting, without which then it's very hard to do a consultation. So without knowing how much progress they can make, it was very hard. So it's kind of like a moving part. Then where we settled on was built in time where we can for updates. So we had a short update in the global report session, and the other one we settled on specifically for this day. Now, in terms of whether we could have done it better, I will take responsibility as head of the organization. We will look into it and see how we can improve the program as we go. But the ICP2 topic is and will be a key topic, and it will be a key area that Secretariat will support. So we will definitely support ASOAC's work as well as their consultations and also communications with the community regarding this issue. We have to have a very robust community consultation process for this issue. So we will put in every effort to make sure that we work with the community, we get the responses from the community. Now, one other point to make is in where we are right now is in some ways kind of like an in-between point. So the SOAC is doing as best as they can to collect the SOAC is doing their best that they can to collect input. And in some ways, I see it as taking the APNIC process. You need an author to put a draft on the mailing list. That's what they're doing now. So to, in some ways, imply that they're not consulting when they're doing just putting together the first draft, I think it's, we in some ways are not recognizing the amount of effort they're putting in to do that. And it's a very much more complex issue where they have to, or using the first round from the questionnaire, the feedback, to put together a first draft. Let's also, try our best to appreciate and understand that complexity in that work to come up with the first draft so all of us then can really participate in the consultation. And also that, in terms of the next steps, we will make sure that we be as robust as possible and be as consultative as possible, build in all that consultation together. And then we will, again, I'm very confident that ASOAC will take into account everybody's feedback and work on the best draft possible. So let's have confidence in each other, confidence in how we've always been making policy, and help one another this way. So I'd like to seek your support and common understanding, work with each other. And there's going to be a lot of work for us, but I'm confident in Hervé's leadership with Nick and to the ASOAC, and I'm confident of our community that, in some ways this is the first time we're doing it in some ways, but we've done a lot of these together. So let's show the world that we rise up together. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
Avec Clément, one more time, so I will be very short. Thank you very much.
Don't worry, we still have time, so you can keep going.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much for your words. Pretty sure that, and I confirm that everything that was said that will be taken into account. We absolutely understand the frustration that can be here during this meeting. We are in balance between the hard work we have to do and with the support of the communication team and the legal as well. We are a community of volunteers, as Kevin explained just before. We try really to do our best and in a more objective way. Be sure of that, because for the document finally, on the final document to be adopted, we need to have the legitimacy and the support of the community, of course. For us, and we will improve that, one more time, we learn by working. We will do our best to, even if we try to to have the voice of the community, but to have it more and more discussion with it. It's something so we will work on. And for us, it's very exciting so to see and to hear what comes from the community, because even if we don't create something, but even if we propose something, it's always very interesting to see if finally, if we think of something, it answers to the request or to the understanding of the community. So we will face very, very exciting time. And thank you everybody for the time when answering the document, when reading the comment, and when going to the mic here to ask a question. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Herbei. And your work are volunteer, but your contribution actually are invaluable. Thank you very much. So any question, we still have time. Sorry, that's my mistake. Right now it's second open mic. Any other question, please go to the mic. Okay. Oh, Rajesh.
Thank you, Kenny. Rajesh Charya from ISPI. This time I'm speaking on behalf of all the affiliates of the NIR, especially I'm talking of the IRIN. We are not getting the same privilege what the APNIC member is getting directly, not in voting, not in attending the APNIC meeting. So what I feel is that when the NIR is the part of APNIC, then at least the NIR member should also be allowed to attend the APNIC meeting in the same way like the APNIC members are attending. And they should also have some voting right, so that they should also have the say into the APNIC policy and other things. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your input. I think your input is well received. So any other question? Hearing none, I pass over to Jiarong.
Thank you. Okay, this is the hardest part because I'm standing between you and shopping. Okay, so please bear with me, and please also join me to thank the bunch of people we have to thank. So first of all, big thank you to our AGM sponsors. I have something to give up. All right. So please join me to thank APNIC, and APNIC. And last but not least, APNIC for sponsoring the AGM. No one from APNIC. Okay, then also to thank all our community leaders, Policy SIG Chair and Co-Chairs, Bertrand, Shaila, Jingheng, who cannot join us, then NIR SIG Chair and Co-Chair, Wang, and Zhenyu, Corporation SIG Chair and Co-Chair, Joy and Bikram, Routing Security SIG Acting Chair, Taiji, and on behalf of the APNIC community, let us also thank Jocelyn for your leadership and support to the Routing Security SIG. Please. Then also extremely important, Electoral Committee. Let's thank Donna Austin, who's our chair, Jonathan Brewer, our secretary, Amrita, Rupesh, Tukso. Thank you so much for helping to make the elections happen. Thank you. Then also APNIC EC Election Chair, Dr. Tommy, APNIC EC Election Scrutineers, Athena, Michael, and all APNIC EC election nominees and participants, and congratulations to the elected EC members. Also all speakers and moderators, APNIC EC staff, RR colleagues and guests, and everyone who attended in person and remotely. And also for the 2025 fellowship program, everyone knows about this program. It's a 6-month program culminating in APNIC 60. We're opening for applications early March, and it comprises a series of things, a completion of a series of technical and leadership webinars, completion of an APNIC Academy course stream, introduction to the community mentorship program in an area of interest, and culminates at APNIC 60 in Da Nang, including networking. So applications will close on Friday, 28th of March, 2355, so it's 11:55 UTC plus 10. The link is there. Please help us share the word with your friends, your network, and then encourage them to apply for the fellowship. Now we also are going to launch the Policy Fellowship. It's a pilot program. We will be selecting up to 4 participants on an invitation basis. And the reason for that is to keep it small and to pilot it first. Then there will be focused research on APNIC PDP, including one-on-one mentoring from Policy SIG leaders, and the duration will be between 18 to 24 months. So heads up for this one. Hope to have your support, especially from community leaders. I spoke to you earlier about we may need a bit more of your time for mentoring, for speaking with community members. So last but not least, we thank you again, everyone, for participating, and I look forward to seeing you at APNIC 60 in Da Nang. I used to live in Vietnam for 3 years, so I'm very excited to go back to Da Nang again, and I hope that I can welcome you there. So look forward to seeing all of you until APNIC 60. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jarong. Thank you, give it a vote of thanks. And right now we enter into the closed section. And before I end of this section, I also like to take this opportunity to thank again to the entire organizer, including the APNIC team, APNIC Secretariat, and silent team on the right-hand side, silent team on the backstage, and also all your participation. I think that's very grateful. And a lot of response and feedback are well received today. And thank you for your feedback. We definitely, some of them, we definitely take into consideration. And also, as Jarong just mentioned, we're going to have bylaw reform consultation that will be going to be announced very soon. And please pay attention to the bylaw reform consultation. And especially a lot of people, they are pay attention to ICP2. So there's a web page for the ICP2. You can see the QR code. I didn't record it. And you can check the QR code to find more information about ICP2 and more way to participate about how you can give in the feedback to the ICP2. And that will not only happening in the APNIC region, they are going around the globe, including the different regions, including in the right, including discussion in the IRIN, and also have discussion in the ICANN forum as well. So please pay attention and welcome to join if they have any discussion or any forum or any webinar, please if you are available, please welcome to join their discussion as well. Okay, before I end of section, I think that's pretty much. Oh, we always have one LB, I always forget. And we have one LB is a selfie. So I pass over to Archie.
Thank you, Kenny. I will ask the EC to go with me here at the back.
So I have more selfie.
Sorry, don't go yet. We need the official photographer who will stay in front. That's easy.
APNIC staff, please stay in the room for a group photo. All APNIC staff members, please stay in the room for the group photo. Thank you. Not done. No, APNIC group photo, APNIC staff.
Nice, officially concluded. Thank you very much.